Hello! Today, I'm going to show you how to draw in Affinity Designer with ease. Even if it's your first time, let's see if you like it. In Affinity Designer, there are three main modes: Designer, Pixel, and Export Persona. Today, we'll focus on the first two, as they're the ones you'll use most often. Designer Persona is used for vector work, while Pixel Persona is for raster work. Affinity Designer works in a way that's pretty similar to other programs you might be familiar with. It might not have all the tools that make work faster in other software, but the basic tools are more than enough for good drawing. However, I have to say, these programs weren't specifically designed for drawing, so you might find you need to take a few extra steps to make them work for that purpose. Personally, I don't want to compare which program is better because they each have their own strengths. When it comes to my drawing style, just draw according to your imagination and preferences. Try looking at your older drawings compared to what you're drawing now. I bet you'll see that you've improved over time. Now, let's cover some basics of the tools for drawing. For the pencil tool, which I use frequently, I often use the Use Fill and Auto Close options. The pen tool allows you to click to create straight lines or click and drag to create curves. The brush tool works similarly to the pencil tool, and you can choose different brush styles. That's a brief overview for now. I'll point out the key features you need to know. For example, if you're looking for any tools like the Brushes tool, you can find them in the window menu at the top. That's where everything is grouped together. Whether you're drawing with the pencil tool or the brush, vector lines work similarly. They consist of curves and nodes. You can expand strokes for vector lines. And with the brush, only the solid brush can be expanded into shapes. There are also several ways to delete lines. Like you can add nodes to your lines and delete the points you don't need, or you can use the Shape Builder tool to erase parts. You can watch my other videos on the pencil tool or the pen tool if you need more guidance. In my videos, I make sure to include enough detail so you can use what you learn in your work. Just try to keep your lines connected as much as possible, or draw them as intersecting lines, and then we can clean them up later. There are many ways to approach drawing. All in vector, all in raster, or a mix of both. It really depends on what you're aiming for. Like if you're creating a logo or mascot, I'd recommend doing it in vector. It stays clear when you scale it. Why vector? For me, as I mentioned earlier, it's easy to tweak the colors, change shapes, and adjust lines. When it comes to coloring, I've mentioned before that when using the Vector Flood Fill tool, the area you're coloring needs to be fully enclosed with no gaps. Just like in any other drawing program. The principle is really that simple. Once your lines are done, my go-to method is to expand the stroke by going to the Layer menu and selecting Expand Stroke. Expanding strokes in Affinity Designer is a great way to avoid searching for gaps. You can immediately use the Vector Flood Fill tool to add color. For coloring, You can switch to pixel persona. When you draw lines in vector, those lines can be resized later and still stay sharp. But when you color in pixel persona, even though there's some quality loss, it doesn't affect your work much unless you're aiming for a 100% vector file. If you're more skilled in raster, it might be a bit challenging, but it all depends on your comfort level. I've been using this method since I started with Affinity Designer, so it's what I'm used to. You might not be familiar with it at first, but trust me, you'll like it. Affinity isn't sponsoring me, but when I first tried it, it won't take long for you to learn how to use it. One of the advantages is that you only pay once, with additional costs only when upgrading to a new version. You can download the trial version to see if it fits your workflow and which tools you use frequently. I hope you find this video helpful. If you have any suggestions or want me to make a video on something specific, please leave a comment. Thanks for watching.